Journey to Paradise, Barbara Cartland. 1839. As you have later, Kamla. The heavy voice seemed to boom down the breakfast table, making Kamla jump before she replied. Yes, Uncle Marcus. She had seen the letter as soon as she entered the room. The butler's instructions were to place the post on the table at breakfast, an order which Kamla knew was one of the many ways in which her uncle kept track of what was happening in his household. There was in fact little that escaped his sharp eyes, and he saw with a faint smile of satisfaction that the color had left Kamla's face. Who is your correspondent? She might have guessed, she thought. He would not leave the matter alone. I do not know, Uncle Marcus. You were not expecting a letter? No, Uncle Marcus. Then naturally you must be curious to know who the writer may be. I suggest you to open the letter and read its contents aloud to us. Kamla looked towards the end of the table nervously. Her uncle was a large, red-faced, overpowering man. He ruled his wife, his servants with a rod of iron. He was in fact a domestic tyrant whom few were brave enough to defy. I don't know why Kamla should have a letter, Sophie complained petulantly. She was a large and plain girl not unlike her father, and Kamla knew only too well that Sophie was jealous of her. The mere fact that her cousin should receive a letter addressed to her individually, even if it were only from a shop, would arouse Sophie's envy. Kamla was quite certain that if her uncle did not make a sense about the letter, Sophie would do so later. I do not know who it could be from, Kamla said miserably, staring at the envelope in front of her as if it contained a booby trap. Then let us not prolong our speculation on the identity of your correspondent, Marcus said sarcastically. His hard eyes seemed to linger on Kamla's pale cheeks, and there was a cruel smile about his lips as he saw that the hand she put out towards the letter was trembling. It would have been difficult to find two girls in such complete contrast to each other as Sophie and Kamla. It was in fact hard to believe that they could be related. Kamla was small, fine-boned, and very lovely. She had eyes that seemed almost too big for her small pointed face, and her hair was the color of the first golden fingers of dawn creeping up the sky. Her eyes were deep blue, the color of a stormy sea, and some Irish ancestor had given her dark lashes to accentuate the pale fragility of her skin. She had a grace of movement which made her slim figure seem to away like a flower in the breeze, and everything about her had an exquisite perfection. Sophie, on the other hand, was fat, clumsy, and commonplace. Her hair was a straight and uncompromising brown, her skin inclined to be sallow, and was not improved by the quantities of sweetmeats and chocolates with which she stuffed her already overfed body. She had little intelligence, unlike her father, who was extremely clever and had little desire to improve herself. She just wanted what other people had, and apart from being petulant and self-assertive, would not even struggle to fulfill her own ambitions. Kamla picked up the letter and opened the envelope. The writer was unknown to her, but as she saw the signature, she drew in her breath. She had met the writer only once. Well, her uncle asked, "Can you tell us now who has written to you?" "It is Mr. Philip Redfield, Uncle Marcus. Kamla faltered. Why has he written to you? Sophie screamed from the other side of the table. He is to see me. He is my friend. The letter must be for me. Yes, I'm sure it is for you, Kamla said quickly, holding out the letter to her cousin. Let me see the envelope, Marcus, Clayton demanded. Kamla picked up the envelope she had laid down to the table and passed it to her uncle. He scrutinized it, his heavy eyebrows meeting across his forehead as he did so. The address appears to be quite plain, he said. Miss Kamla Litze, that is, I think, your name. Yes, Uncle Marcus. Then let us hear what this young man has to say.